So, welcome to Granblue Radio number 333. This setup is very different from normal because, once again, I am on my work laptop. I am coming to you from Las Vegas, where this weekend I'm going to be going to Final Fantasy Fan Fest, just because it's fun, and I wanted to hear Soken live, just to hear basically. My joke is that they're the Stella Magna altar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And then, I'm just going to stay in Vegas, and then Evo happens. And next week, there's a lot of news happening in the space of freaking, let's see, 10 a.m. No, it's 11 a.m. on Friday. And then 3 a.m. on Saturday mornings. So within the space of about 16 hours, 18 hours, there's just going to be there's going to be a lot happening. Speaking of a lot happening, this weekend is also the Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising Beta. So, DJ, you spent way more time in there than I did. Also, you're way better at fighting games than I am. So I'm going to defer to you on this one.
All right. Yeah, so I played the entire 5 hours on yesterday. It's fun. There's a lot of problems though that I have with it, and it's not the stupid technical input versus easy input thing. That part's trivial.
The funny thing is that I was trying. So I was on pad the whole time because I'm just I have a keyboard and I have a pad, and I just wanted the keyboard was more important to me than plugging in a stick. So I was just like, okay. And then I tried playing with simple inputs only, and I did really badly. I'm like, oh god.
It's kind of hard to get rid of all that muscle memory now, ain't it?
There's also just I called it the nightmarish button diagram. If you go into Persona 4 Arena cold and you don't remember which two buttons do which action, it doesn't come back that quickly. It comes back quickly enough, but it's just like, what does those? It's like, these two are throw, these two are reversal. Wait, no, that one was throw.
Persona buttons are throw. Person buttons are together make overhead. Light buttons in KOF make roll, which makes sense. And DP's the heavy buttons.
It'll take about a round for that to come back. And the thing was, it was just like, okay, so forward special, it's like forward plus special plus medium button, or plus hard button, or plus ultimate button. It's like, oh.
To be fair, ultimate button is you. So.
True. But anyway, so
I like the fact that I can use simple buttons with the Diva, so I don't accidentally get a 360 when I'm trying to do headbutt, or the other way around, where I get headbutt instead of 360.
And then the classic one was also running ahead and then just out of nowhere doing the anti-air grab with her, because there was an overlapping input with, I think, headbutt or something.
Yeah, but if you're running and doing headbutt, there's other problems that are with you.
I mean, that's fair. So you played Vera before, and you said that your Vera memory was betraying you, basically, wasn't it?
Oh no, Vera memory does not betray me. The problem is she gets worse when there's more meter options.
Oh, that's right. The Vera
she has literally almost one way only to get into her ultimate form, which is better, and it's really bad and reactable too.
Right. Yeah.
And also has a really long whiff. So the new systems they added. So they added a third way, 2 ways to do things during your triple attack. You can, instead of doing the normal one, you can do forward medium to go low and forward heavy to go high. You cannot combo off this unless you have you're Fairy and you're already doing you already have GG out or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so you can cheat your turn back while just getting a cheeky hit in.
Yeah, and so that seems to make it much more about getting little bits of damage and then sort of fooling them into doing something, right?
I have not seen what happens when you get a counter hit, because I've never seen what happens when you get a counter hit with those.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there is actually a gap between doing those.
And then when you actually hit those, do you get like the little soft knockdown, or do you just hit them and then you go back to like the state you were before?
You get soft knockdown on the low. I think it actually depends on character too.
Okay,
That's
because
the other thing.
I was running around with Siegfried and trying things out, and then like his running medium is a low poke that does in fact knock them down. Like not
Yeah,
hard, but they
so
just sort of flip in
a
place.
lot of the running mediums are the low attacks
Hmm.
in the auto combo.
Got it.
Ladiva is different because hers is the overhead.
Is
Also
that the
sends
big
them
ass?
away. You know the thing you really want to do as a grappler, send
That
them
was
away.
the big ass drop kick, right? Or no? Is
Correct.
that a different one? Okay.
So that's one of the things they added. Uh, one of the other things they added is the bravery point system, the BP. You know, because we're funny
Did
and
you
we have
ever
BP.
did you ever actually go below like 2 BP before you just plain died?
Depends.
Okay.
If I'm fighting a good player, yes.
Okay. Because it seemed like, at least from other watching other people and hearing their impressions, that um, basically if you went below 2 BP, you were probably already dead because of just how much damage you get from the raging strike system, the new one.
Oh, the thing is, they also increased everybody's health in the
Oh,
beta.
did they? Okay.
Yeah, you have like 15,000 health instead of 10,000. They also increased like the damage on normals too.
Okay, they increased the damage on most things, but they did. Hmm. I did
Yeah,
not notice that.
like I did a combo, I did 6,000, it was like not half their health, and I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
yeah,
Interesting.
that's one of the things that actually does come up because a lot of times you're just actually getting a lot of stray hits.
Hmm.
One of the things they also changed, EXs, well,
The heavy
what we
versions.
called EXs, the heavy versions of moves, no longer cause hard knockdown.
Right. They moved that onto like the ultimate versions, basically, right?
And the thing is, you can barely combo into the ultimate versions.
Yeah. Only like juggles, basically. You go into neutral and then you just do an ultimate is a few of the ones that I saw at least. Because
The
you can't
only way
cancel
you can
them.
actually go into ultimates is off of the raging strike mechanic
Hmm. Okay.
because you have enough hits done in order to do it.
Hmm.
But they will always put your enemy into a down state.
Right. The
Things
moment they contact, we see the word combo limit, if I remember right.
Yeah, and also you see down as well.
Hmm. Did
So
s-
what's up?
did crouching ultimates, aka sweeps, did those have hard knockdown? I know that they
So
took away the hard knockdown on them if they're juggles.
if you're grounded, you get a hard sweeps will still hard knock.
Hmm. Okay, so if you
But
hit it with it
the
as your
way that
sweep.
you normally count, the normal way you combo into it
Is
is air hits. So they got rid of that
So they got rid of basically a lot of the loopable down states that lead into
into
like
Okiseme.
yeah, and so then so we were talking about this. Well, everybody's talking about it really. Like it's moved into the next stage of conversation as people actually play this game, where we talk about how like even I can break throws in this game. I was like, what? What happened?
Yeah,
Like,
so they increased the throw window and also decreased how much frame disadvantage you are for taking a throw late.
and
I
so
don't think that's a good idea.
it felt like Tekken, where you don't expect the throw to land. You're just doing it for space, essentially, because it's like
Except in Tekken, you do a back throw and you're suddenly out of the corner.
right. Like even when it's
Like
broken, you're now out of the corner.
when when it's broken, you're a lot of times in position to be out of the bad situation that you're previously in. As like okay,
And then in this one, you just push them to mid screen, and then like, or
you're
actually,
able to get out
since
now
you're
because
initiating it, yeah,
if you're initiating it, it's gonna be taxed
Yeah.
unless they're bad or is counter hit.
Right.
It's funny because when it's counter hit, they get rid of the long window to attack and
It just
immediately
says.
throws.
I also like the message for that. It goes, "No escape."
No escape. Yeah.
And the thing is that they've made throws faster. So, um, like
Yeah,
I
it went down
noticed
to
that.
like 4 frames, I
Yeah,
believe, instead of 7.
it was at 7 before. Okay, because like I'm wondering what their sort of design goal with that is to make them faster. Because so in Guilty Gear, this game's parent game, right? The throws are basically 1 frame. Like they are
I
the
thought there's
fastest.
3 in the current version.
In Strive, I think they're 3 because there's a motion for them. It's no longer an OS.
Yeah,
But
when it was kind of dumb.
yeah, the parent of this game though, this is more of an Exert Field game than a Strive Field game.
It's definitely Team Red.
Yeah, but and it's just like in that game, you would mash on throw defensively in a lot of cases. Well, not mash on it, but expect it, use it as your reversal. In
I
this
mean, yeah,
one,
that's why that's why in that game there is also a lot of throw baiting moves because a lot of there's the moves that actually you could not be thrown out of, and you will
right?
instead get hit. You will get heavy and then die for getting counter hit by that other move.
Yeah, like a lot of that game was built around how its throws were, and so that's why Strive. One of the big reasons Strive is so different from Exerd and XX before it is because they changed how throws work, which changes it cascades out to changing how everything works.
They also just make you die in like 2 combos.
Also true. And then in this one, it's like I do wonder what they're trying to do with throws because they're faster, but you're not relying on them for anything really. And so on offense, you're not really like it ends your turn a lot of the
And
time if you try to throw them.
because they got rid of the instant overhead, not instant overhead, it's not even instant, it
The
was really
universal.
slow. The universal overhead, there you go, UOH. You no longer have that throw baiting situation that you used to be in, and also because they increased the tech time, there's no reason to be in the throw baiting situation. You could just
Right.
tech on reaction.
Like I said, I can tech on reaction, and my reactions are that of an old man. And I was playing going, that can't be right. Like,
I mean, I used to be able to tech those things begin with, and then be minus 23 like the entire time. Now I'm only minus 2.
but like, that's the number one thing I put in my feedback survey was that like they sort of put too much into Raging Strike in this version, and not enough into throw. But that's my opinion. We'll see where they're going with it.
I feel like they tried doing the Uni thing where, depending on when you tech, is how much frame disadvantage you're at for teching.
Mm-hmm.
But they forgot to code that part in.
We'll see.
Well, remember that between Evo and the next release that we had that showed GB Versus originally were 2 different games.
True. Like they do listen to feedback and they do change the game a lot in between versions before release. Like I was talking about this also, where it's like the original beta that we had for GB Versus in 2019 was ripe to become Kusoge because you would just like sneeze on somebody and they would get hard knocked down and you would get a safe jump and you could just do this over and over again.
And there was no reason to use EXs in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, things to note because we only glanced over it. So, in order you start with 3 BP each round, not game round. And what happens is that when you get guard broken by the Brave Strike, or whatever that was called, I think,
Mm-hmm.
You lose 1. In order to actually lose 1, you actually have to be in a situation where you're at neutral. So you can't do a true block string into Brave Strike. You actually have to, apparently.
But the built-in mechanic of the game, the triple attack auto combo, and
has a gap.
Has a gap, so you can just do it.
Yeah. It only costs 25 meter to do it. Also, you don't suffer a meter penalty when you do it for the 25 meter part. That's a bug. You should be a meter penalty for spending meter.
Yeah, it's. I
So
mean,
one of the things I actually did
mhm.
in the beta, and I'm like, I feel like a villain doing it, but I'm gonna win. Was in the first hit confirm. Usually, both me and my opponent have 20 meter. You don't get meter anymore, pretty much for doing your EX moves
Mhm.
anymore. You, in fact, a lot of the time because I had to use EX moves to carry my opponent to corner, I ended up being less meter than them for hitting them.
Yeah, because there's a meter penalty involved with certain moves, right? EXs, I think it was the heavy version of these
EXs have
specials.
meter penalty. So the thing is that I'm in this situation to hit them with a raging strike because they're defending right now and they don't have 50 meters. So in order to get out of a raging strike, there's a guard cancel that counts 50 meters for the defender.
And it's
You
also
can
very
do.
hard to do, right?
It's really dumb to do because you have to hit the guard button as well as the raging strike button. There's no raging strike macro, by the way, in the beta.
Huh.
Because the Raging Strike macro is what M and H is. So you have to remember instinctively hit 3 buttons while doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and also you have to do it pretty fast while you're guard broke.
That's yeah. So basically, like throws are useless, and you
Throws are
just do
useless.
the.
Raging Strike's great.
And not just that, not because Raging Strike is so great. There's no reason to use meter on anything else.
Correct.
So that is something that I hope that they fix um, before release because yeah, I feel like they will. They've done this kind of thing before, but you can't always say
Uh,
exactly what's going on in their heads.
so we still have to talk about the other thing is that after spending the 25 meter to break their guard, if
Hmm.
you have another 25 meter, you can do the follow up to it that guarantees you a hit.
Right. The
This
next
works in mid
25.
screen as well. That one has meter penalty though.
So the
So
so basically they thought that you wouldn't be able to do any other cancel other than this one, I guess, and that's why they
I
put the
feel
meter
like
penalty on
it.
the second one.
The problem is in the corner. You can guard break them and then do a jab confirm.
And that just yeah, I saw that you basically expect to do like 40 to 50% off of doing that to them.
Well, you don't do a jab confirm because of how bad the skill of jabs.
Hmm.
But the thing is because you're not a meter penalty, you just get meter for another 25 in that combo.
And so they removed one looping situation in order to put in this looping situation. Is what
It's a
we're
more toxic one.
yeah. I
And
hope they take that
like I
out.
said, so dumb things that also happen
Hmm.
because the defender has to spend 50 meter to get out.
Hmm.
You don't actually need if you're just doing that part of the loop. The loop,
Hmm.
you only spent 25 meter to break their guard, and then they pushed you off. When you so one thing is that when you get your guard broken, normally with the guard cancel, it costs you 1 BP in order to do.
Hmm.
If your guard broken, it doesn't cost you a BP because you're already guard broken. That'd be dumb to take away 2 when there's only 3 resources, right?
Hmm.
Now we're in a situation where I already guard broken you twice and you're at half health.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was mentioning before is like the BP system doesn't seem that important because you'll just be dead before your third BP is really taken away meaningfully.
And if you get to that situation, you're dead.
Yeah.
You're actually automatically dead.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
Raging Strike is actually too powerful.
yeah.
The hit actually does the hit from it is
Hmm.
actually equivalent to getting hit by a heavy. Counter hit heavy. It's actually no, it's actually more like counter hit overhead. It's actually if you actually notice it, it's actually the overhead motion from that was used previously when you do the
Right.
follow up. But it's like it counts as counter hit state. That's why like Percival's able to do his ultimate Lord Strike
Hmm.
because it has that much hit stun on normal hits.
What a Lord Percival is in this version.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they actually changed a lot of things about a lot of characters.
but
Like Percival can go to 9 stacks of what's it called? Promare.
ex- so the thing, so here's the thing that I find kind of sad about this um, version of the game that we get the beta of is that we've talked about why Raging Strike was so overwhelming that there's barely any reason to use an ultimate skill, and some of these ultimate skills also seem broken, just less like
Also,
obviously so.
some of these are just useless.
And right. And so I really wish that we could spend more like time exploring these things because some of them are funny. Like we've seen clips of like Ultimate Lady Caterpillar just doing something that we literally saw last week in Street Fighter that got patched out in a day.
To be fair, this doesn't kill you.
True.
It just brings you to the corner. Meanwhile, Siegfried also just does that in his ultimate skill, anyways. He brings you to the corner.
Well, Vegeta used to do that with just Rush, and same with Percival. They took out Rush.
Actually, a lot of things that actually do happen
Hmm.
is that a large counter hit from a heavy button. A, it causes a slowdown now.
Right.
But B is actually comboable into your ultimate skill.
Okay. Because there's so much extra slowdown. Yeah, that makes sense.
One of the cool things is that it, like, for example, because I played Vera, I used the ultimate skill Chevalier Call,
Hmm.
and one of the things that happens with that is that it summons Chevalier and then it immediately goes to hit the opponent.
Oh, yeah.
So it actually gives her like a leg against people who are throwing fireballs for once, because the one thing that Vera had trouble with is actually people far away throwing fireballs.
I'm laughing thinking about like the Beelzebub ultimate skill Karma, where it's just like, oh, you're on the screen. Shame. I guess you're getting sucked in and guard broken.
Just watch that one if you're not being dumb when he has meter.
Yeah, but he changes the rules when he has meter with that thing. It's just that once again, like the Raging Strike change means that people aren't exploring it very much right now. They're just, well, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. One of the cool things is that you can actually use Raging Strike to extend your combo. So it acts like Rush in that sense.
Hmm.
And so like if you're mid screen, you just do full auto combo. You do the rush and the follow up, and then you can still keep going.
All right, so we've talked a lot about like new stuff. What about like improved old stuff? Because I know that they spent a lot of time on the netcode and also on just making the game look better. So there's been a lot of changes to the lighting, to the
I hate
netcode.
some of these hit sparks.
Yeah, there's a lot of new effects for better or worse. I think that
Some of these hit sparks are just too obnoxious.
the breaking glass every time you do an ultimate skill.
I'm okay with that. So
Oh, okay,
you spent your meter,
that's
but
fair.
it's just like some of these normal hit sparks are just kind of obnoxious.
And I mean, it's like I have no problems with there being like a glowing "you are in the corner" indicator. It's like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't create a corner. It's just there to just visually tell you, hey, you can't back up any
We're not
further.
Crusader now, are we?
No. Oh, screw that character.
he,
Oh man.
hey, he tells you about the Lord Savior.
Sorry, I'm looking at chat and it's like Wyvern Lord says that Wyvern Lord says Madara's ultimate butterflies tracked the opponent for 10 seconds before they disappear. And I'm just like, man, nobody plays Madara anymore. So I didn't see that.
Oh, I had to fight a Matera. Unfortunately, that was when I was playing the Diva. I'm like, this still sucks.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah,
The Diva actually has an armored option now to get people off her with ultimate headbutt, but that doesn't help if they're not anywhere near me.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, thank God they got. I saw someone's tweet. There's like, man, I don't like the knockdown changes. I'm like, you're a Matera player. You just shot an arrow at me. I got knocked down.
Whoops.
They got rid of that from Gran and Gita.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, it shows that they've been spending like 3 years working on this game. Systems aside, like the menus are super cleaned up. Um, let's see. Well, rematching was never a problem in the previous version. In fact, was encouraged because then you didn't have to go through freaking Unreal Engine loading
Loadings.
times. Um,
Yeah,
like rematches were already fast, so that wasn't a problem before. Um,
that code worked fine.
yeah, we were playing cross country and it worked fine. Like
Oh,
most of the
I definitely did get hit by that rollback one time where something else came out
um
on screen.
yeah. So do you consider it like slightly worse than Street Fighter 6, but right around like where Strive is? That's what I was hearing for
Uh,
other people.
that sounds right. Oh, that rollback I got hit by was Street Fighter Five.
Mm, but
It's that stupid clip of Cody jumping doing EX, and then he actually did jump medium kick,
uh,
which is funny because if you watch the meter, you know he didn't spend meter. So,
that's
but
weird.
it's just one of those things of rollback hit you hard.
Hmm.
I could have some improvements though, but the other thing is that I was playing the PS4 version on my PS5,
Okay, I was playing the
so
PS5 version
there
on
can
my
be
PS5.
weird things.
Interesting. Oh, but so as an open beta goes, like I'm mostly optimistic because the technical issues are now out of the way and they can basically concentrate on the design portion of it to try and make this a game that is fun for people. Like they've
Games are supposed to
succeeded
be
in.
fun.
Yeah, it's like they've succeeded in making it a game that people can play against each other. That's a very good start, you know?
Yeah, one of the things that actually comes up in topics
Hmm.
is people, people who are like old FGC heads at this point, say they played since Street Fighter Five at middle at closest range,
Hmm.
and there people complain about like certain system thing.
Hmm.
This game is not technically not made for you. This is made for other people to get in
True. I mean,
to the degree.
I brought up Persona before, and Persona was actually pretty successful at getting people in.
Yeah, it
Like
was a gateway for a lot of people I
it
know.
was it was a gateway for a lot of people in general. Like they've talked about it before, where the successful crossover IP brought a lot of people in. Um, the it's not like the controls were um, going to like turn people off necessarily. Uh,
Oh baby, auto combo. I'm like, yeah, we use auto combo to build meter sometimes. Otherwise, we just do these other combos.
hmm And it's like this is essentially the iteration on Persona Arena in a bunch of ways. Um, there's scuttlebutt that basically one of the reasons that Persona Arena 5 hasn't been happened is because like yeah, Arc System Works is way too busy working on games for other people too, where it's like they're still working on Dragon Ball Fighters, they're still working on Granblue Versus. They had Strive in cooking, and they're still actively working on Strive. DNF Duel had to be outsourced to aiding under the Arc System Works um, banner in publishing. And it's
Yeah,
like there's just no people left.
they're all busy.
And it's like at this point,
I actually have no idea what's happening. I have no idea what's happening in Team Blue. If Team Blue still exists.
that's true because Team Blue is the one that was headed by Mori, right?
Yeah.
And Mori's now at Nexon, I think it was. I think that's right.
Believe so.
I wonder what he's cooking, but let it cook for a few years. It's like how Takaki from previously of Marvelous is at Cygames, and he's been working on a game very quietly for like years now. And they learned from the Relink thing, and they're like, we're not gonna really, really announce this or start marketing it until it's like way closer to ready.
Yeah, I'm like Relink, where it's been 6 years now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah, Like, we only found out about the Uma Musume party game a couple weeks ago, essentially, and that's coming out in early 2024, as far as we can tell.
That's coming out in English.
It is. It's sick. I'm gonna be playing that one.
Oh, I'm definitely playing that. You know, I love party games.
Hell yeah. Oh, are we? Do we have your Switch and enough Joy-Cons to play Mario Party this Evo or no? Oh wait, our party games are gonna be card games, huh?
Yeah, it's a different side games IP.
Right, we're playing Evolve. So anyway, did you submit your survey yet? Or
Not
are you waiting
yet.
to play the open beta?
No, it's more. I was too busy.
That's fair. Yeah, since I'm not going to be able to play the open beta, since I'm busy, and I am several hundred miles away from my PS5 at this point.
Yeah.
I submitted my feedback, and I'm just like, there's a lot of positive here, and then I would just like the following things to happen. It's like I would really like throws to be meaningful, because right now they are not.
One of the things I always suggest people is write constructive feedback.
I mean, I look over surveys for a living, so I beat that horn a lot. I beat that drum a lot.
That's true, Dom. But however, the internet is not.
Oh, I understand.
I hate the internet.
Oh man, I remember arguing with an old head about the original Strive survey at freaking, was it Anime Revo or Arc System Works Revo US, and they were like, they never listen. Like, they always listen. The question is what they can do.
We would have that garbage UI still.
They would have one. They would have the garbage UI. Two. Remember that one of the first questions on there that people were laughing at is like, does rollback netcode matter to you? And overwhelmingly, people hit yes. And basically, what happened is the people who ran that survey went to the developers and said, "This is an overwhelming piece of feedback. Everybody says yes. Like, and this is why." And it's like, this is what America thinks, because
we've now evolved past the delayed base in Asia.
Yeah. So, and it's like, well, that's in huge part because they were able to take that feedback from multiple locations and populations, etc., and just say, I mean, it's not just social media that's saying it. Like, we have hard numbers on this one. Like, a lot of people just can't play the game against other people without this because, you live in Japan. Japan's close to the size of California.
Yep.
I
wish California had bullet trains.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like, our friend Hoken, who's down in the Los Angeles area, was able to play against another friend of ours in the Toronto area, and they were able to play. Like, you were able to play against someone in New York, which is also across the country, and the connection was mostly fine. Like, there were hiccups, but
I fought them late, so that meant that they weren't on Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because they first played on Wi-Fi at NLBC, then they went home and continued playing from their own home wired connection.
Yeah,
but I mean, as much as people hate on wireless players, like, remember that in the first Strive tests, Sonic Fox played from wireless just to test things.
The very first Strive test was actually kind of garbage. The second one, though, was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, that's why
when they actually put rollback.
Yeah, that's why you have these tests, though. You just suddenly get way more data than you're capable of producing by yourself. And then you were able to go, all right, let's solve for these issues that we found now. It's like, that's what I'm most hopeful about, and I do hope that they're transparent about what they hear in the Evo panel. I mean, there won't be enough full time to like go through all of the responses or anything like that, but there are techniques for this where you can extract the sentiment and just find like the most commonly used topics and present them. So you just say it's like 90% of the people talked about throws or whatever, and it's like So that means we have identified throws as an area of concern among the players, or something like that. Like, I mean, I'm choosing my issue, of course, but there's a ton of ways to do it, and that's a very common one. Anyway, anything else?
Let's see here. We went over that. Went over
Cool.
ultimate skills, BP.
So, something that's outside of the scope of just like the open beta test, we actually got to see their new design for Siegfried a little bit, because a lot of his skills,
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
a lot of his skills are from
I just hate how he has a command grab.
Oops. Come on.
Oh, your stream is dying.
Yeah, that is the connection right there. My hotel Wi-Fi issues. Can you hear me?
Oh.
Am I coming through?
I hear you, but your stream's dead.
My stream died. Let's take a look.
It's on a loading circle for me.
I'm dropping frames at a high rate.
That's unsurprising.
Yeah. I will wait until it stops dropping frames. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's not a loading circle anymore. Oh, it has a loading circle. Never mind.
It's
If you remember to record locally, you're on your work laptop. That you shouldn't be recording locally. Never mind.
I am not recording locally. It'll come back up, hopefully. Maybe. Let's take a look. 1 second.
It looks like stabilizing, kind of.
It's still showing a lot of dropped frames for me.
I mean, you look like you're moving in like 5 frames per second, but
well, I guess we're just gonna have to call it here because the hotel connection is dying. Like, we can get through voice, but not stream.
oh, they don't even look at your stream. You're not doing anything that's GB versus related right now.
That's true. Umikin says that you're still alive, so
What was I gonna try to say? Game is fun. Make sure to submit your feedback, people, if you actually did play. Do not submit feedback if you didn't play. If people submit feedback and they didn't actually touch anything, it's very unhelpful.
it really is. All right. I think we stabilized in the drop frames. I can actually see the green connection again. Yay!
Oh, cool.
We're back. But anyway, as we said, submit feedback. Submit constructive feedback.
Oh yeah, we saw new supers.
Yeah,
Like,
the one we're gonna say, Siegfried. Siegfried has all new supers, and one of them is all new. And so people are like, Grand Siegfried? Is this the preview?
We also saw Gran go blue.
Yes. Gran now has Jita equity.
Jita actually only turns blue when she's in low health, I believe.
Oh yeah? Okay. Yeah, they took away the technical input for Eternal Ascendancy for her. You can no longer press the buttons in order to do the thing. I think they also realized...
it was cool doing it, but it's also really annoying. I always visually confirmed it.
Yeah, the other thing about that is that the design intent, or at least what they said, is like, oh yeah, you can stop early in order to do a better combo. Like, they had that with Narmea, and it's like, none of those were ever better. Unlike in... I was just gonna say...
Narmea's was pretty bad. She did way less damage because of how scaling worked in this game.
Yeah, CVS 2 has an optimal combo where you drop Deadly Rave and you do other things instead, and you end in like Jaiken, if I remember right. But it's just like, yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, the Bubs grab super with the new animation, yeah, where he beats the crap out of the little ball he puts you in.
The bubble.
That's a fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, because scaling works in this game by different hits that you've done. Mm-hmm. It was never worth it to do Jitas. It was always just more. because it's always more worth it to go for the 4500 instead of whatever jank combo you did afterwards, and while you're in meter penalty.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack. I'm sure we're going to be spending another 3 days unpacking it and just seeing what other people do, with like more time to just test with the general public.
Yeah, because there's another set of tests going out soon.
Yes. So I mean, everybody here already knows about this, and by the time this goes up on YouTube, it'll already be over. But the open beta is available to download as long as you own a PlayStation 4 or 5, and then it'll just have open like testing, and you can just go in there and play against somebody. And yeah,
You know, they're kind of smart of not of only having on PlayStation for now for the beta.
did you read Harada's talk about that?
I did not.
So Harada, so the closed network test for Tekken 8 was last week, of course.
Yeah.
And it was only on PlayStation. And Harada said specifically that crossplay introduces way more variables and way more issues. And he's like, we wanted the closed network test so we could work on PlayStation connections. I can show you that tweet in a bit after this, but like he said that, you know, this is just important for getting the first wave out of the way, essentially.
Yeah, you have to stabilize something first,
Mm-hmm.
indefinitely.
Yeah. Anyway, let's just call it for today. So DJ, next week, next Thursday night, we will be at Evo. So let's just not do an episode that night. Like we will have the new event by then,
Events
which is going to be
and new characters probably.
And new characters, but
we see the preview. You can open up the preview right now.
Yeah, people are like shaking and just quivering at the looming figure of Ferial, the big lady. Casts a big shadow in many
the
ways.
fact that they're making another Lisa.
Yeah. And so we might not do an episode Thursday night just because that's Evo, and I'd rather just, while we're in person, have fun. Maybe we can do a really short one in person. But
good. Well, it depends on the hotel.
Yeah. Saturday night / Friday night / Saturday morning is like the critical juncture there, though. Like, do you want to join me again for the Saturday morning stream, or are you good and you want to stay on site?
I'll probably stay on site this time. I'll let you know, really.
Yeah, that's fair.
We'll find out how the internet is.
Yeah, Pocky's in Vegas this year. So Pocky will
be that's right.
At the site, and so he'll be
in person, yeah.
In person, yeah. Oh,
maybe I'll join you guys. I'll find out. I'm not doing anything.
Up to you. Friday night.
I'm not making top 8 in Granblue.
So funny thing, Pocky's like, hey, Friday night, you want to go to the Win buffet? I'm like, that would be 3 buffets in 7 days. I don't know about this one. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, we planned Sunday buffet at noon.
Yeah, and then this Sunday I'm also planning a buffet. So
yeah, it's a lot of buffets.
That's a lot of money
buffet on buffets.
The money part is less of an issue for me. The issue for me is health and like how good I feel for the next few days. I'm not as young as I used to be when it comes to just stuffing my face. And it's like, you know what?
I've learned that. I just turned 30 and I'm like, I can't keep doing this.
And so I actually eat less at buffets and I just go for like the really good stuff. And it's like, I feel better. I feel better when I do that. And so, you know, cost to enjoyment ratio, it's like, I'm just going to do less buffets. Grand buffet versus cholesterol.
Next Sunday.
You're going to what next Sunday?
A buffet.
Oh yeah. Well, we're also partially doing it because we're gonna go hunting for the Resident Evil slot machine because we heard it was in the same casino.
Oh yeah, that's right.
All right. Anyway, have fun, everybody. Have fun in the open beta. We will see you next week at Evo. We've got the second wave of Rising news with the Evo panel they're going to be doing. We have, you know, the little summer stream where they announce everything. And on the same day as the summer stream, Jujutsu Kaisen goes live. It's gonna be
Oh,
a
that's gonna be fun.
busy ass day. All right.
I'm glad
Anyway,
I'm not doing anything on Saturday on Evo.
oh, I'm going to
It's,
just like lie there dead for Saturday at Evo. I mean, I think I've told you that. You've seen this before
yeah,
at multiple Evos. I just like
yeah. But at least you didn't do a gauntlet of games from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
oh god. Yeah. No
That was
thank
me
you.
last year, remember?
I do. Hey, at least
And I
you
went to
know,
your stream.
yeah, you got a medal at least.
That's true, I did.
All right.
And I
Anyway,
lost every match on stream.
yeah, that's true. But you know, I got a top 8 at Evo, and all I got for it was like a mini Catherine like soundtrack. All right. Anyway, good night, everybody. Uh,
Later.
we'll see you next week.